Hi, folks. My name is Steve Webb. I'm VP of Product Development at the Portal Connector. Thanks for watching our session. Hopefully in the future, you'll be able to attend in person and we can all get to know each other a little bit better. But I want to thank you again for attending this session. I'd also like to thank the folks at DynamicsCon for putting on another great show. This is our third DynamicsCon, and it's always been a great experience, so thank you. So today we have some very special guests that are going to come on and talk about the Portal Connector, but also about their solutions and how the Portal Connector fits within their role, their solution, and their product. So for my first guest, what I'd like to do is introduce Dr. Jennifer Beyer from Anthology.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, for having me. So I have the pleasure of serving as Vice President of Product Management here at Anthology, responsible for our CRM and engagement solutions. Anthology is a newer company. We were formed in July of 2020 when three legacy education technology companies came together. And we are excited that we're able to serve our higher education customers really across the entire campus ecosystem, everything from student information systems, campus engagement tools, and then the solutions that I'm responsible for in the CRM and advancement spaces.
So Jen, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your solution, Reach. It's just a fascinating solution. I know it's definitely a leader in the higher ed market for Dynamics 365.
Yes, so Anthology Reach is a full student lifecycle CRM. It is built on top of Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform, and is really designed to enable institutions to recruit prospective students, support them through their initial application and enrollment processes, provide advising and case management support once those students matriculate, and even support alumni as they continue to remain engaged and ultimately, provide fundraising support, as we like to think about it, as really serves that birth to bequest challenge that many of our colleges and universities face.
So when you say colleges and universities, are you talking mainly in North America or are you talking globally? Do you have global customers?
Yeah, it is a global solution. While our headquarters are here in the United States, we have customers around the world, US, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Ireland, UK, Western Europe, and even into the Asia Pacific region.
So that's great, Jen. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the Portal Connector. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about how the Portal Connector fits within your solution.
Yeah, so one of the key challenges that we needed to solve was, while Reach provides a great CRM solution for faculty and staff and administrators at the university, one of the most important parts is providing a way for prospective students, current students, alumni to engage. And engagement requires that two-way conversation. And so what we really were looking for was a solution that could support forms to collect data from prospective students, support a complex application process, and then provide a portal experience where we could drive out personalized content to support each of our audience members with a unique experience. And that's ultimately what brought us to the Portal Connector team.
Yeah, so I know that there's quite a few portal solutions out there on the market. So you had some choices in front of you. What was your motivation for Anthology to use the Portal Connector within your solution?
Yeah, so we look at a couple of things. One, we wanted a solution that met some of our complex requirements. I think when we first talked, I probably came to you with a list of 100 requirements that we needed it to be a solution that could be managed by, I like to think of them as like funky techs, right? Not people who had a strong development background, but folks who understood data, understood design, but needed a wizard tool, if you will, to create their content. We also wanted a partner, right? So as we are supporting our customers around the world, we really needed an organization that would stand next to us and help us to solution, help us to troubleshoot, and also continue to innovate on their own. And then we really wanted a tool that was already part of the Microsoft ecosystem. So we were looking at other ISVs and partners to really help us accelerate our time to market.
Yeah, so you did mention you had a list of, I guess, about 100 or so requirements, which is, not untypical. How did we do? Did we hit those?
I think you hit most of them, and I think the ones that you didn't, right? What I appreciate, Steve, about working with you and the team is that even, once we signed that initial contract, we've continued to iterate and develop together. And I really have appreciated how your team has learned our business and learned more about the problems that we're trying to solve for and the scale that we're trying to work at, and have come to the table with solutions and both things that TPC might be do differently, but also things that Anthology needs to change in the way that, we're using the solution and the way that we're going to market.
Well, I really appreciate that, Jen. I know the team really enjoys working with Anthology's team as well. It is really a great partnership. Now, you mentioned the word partner a few times. And that is what we have, is a partnership. But can you tell me what the experience is working with the Portal Connector team?
Yeah, so I think, although we thought that we were all coming into this with eyes wide open and understanding each other's solutions and requirements, certainly, once we go to market, that becomes pressure tested. And, Anthology provides a product that's delivered, a managed solution delivered on top of Dynamics at scale. We deploy the same solution to lots of customers who are similar but have their own unique challenges. And I think, as we have worked with your team, what I have really appreciated is when we do hit that problem, right, which we know will happen in software, we're going to hit an issue. The responsiveness that your team has had in rolling up their sleeves, getting into the problems with us, and really helping to work through it, to me, is why we continue to work together, right? I had a boss once who said, the partnership is really proven when there's a problem and how we react to that. And I think that's where I have appreciated the partnership and the work with TPC, because yes, we have hit some bumps in the road and some obstacles, but I also think that we've been able to work through those efficiently to meet both of our needs, and then most importantly, meet the needs of the colleges and the universities that we're supporting.
Now, Jen, you mentioned a few bumps in the road. Maybe if you can just tell us some of the challenges that occurred introducing the Portal Connector to your solution.
Yeah, I think the challenges maybe circled around a couple of things. One is, as I mentioned, we deliver a product to our schools that they then take. Some of them use it pretty close to out of the box, and then some of them really want to push the limits. And it is a challenge of how do we do that at scale. We deliver a product, not a, custom project. And so we need to be able to work at scale. We need to be able to deploy quickly to all of our customers as part of a managed solution. And so I would say that that's an area where we certainly, I think, hit some initial bumps. Part of it was, I think, a learning on the Anthology team side of understanding, how to take a different solution, bundle it with ours, and deploy it together. I think, we worked with your team as we tried to take this different model and, host some of it in our Azure environment, which gave us more ability to control, but also deploying Dynamics in the customer's tenant. And so I think those are a couple of examples where we ran into challenges, just I think in learning. I think, and then, there certainly were some examples where, recently we had a customer who was launching a new program that we had never supported before. And ultimately, we, I think, very quickly realized that we hadn't performance tested in the right way, right? And so I think that was a great example of where the Anthology team had done some troubleshooting, the TPC team had done some troubleshooting, and then we also needed Microsoft to come in and help with troubleshooting. And it really was a challenge that none of the three of us could solve on our own, because it really was at the intersection of those 3 points was where we were seeing some tension and conflict in the product. And what I appreciated about that is the recognition that it was a customer that was being impacted, and everybody's willingness to stay focused, work the hours that needed to be worked to get ultimately that customer to resolution. And then also learn, okay, what do we all need to go back into our own products and fix so we don't hit this challenge again in the future?
Well, Jen, I really appreciate you taking the time today, to do this, and also for being such a great partner. I'm always looking forward to working with you in the future, but thanks again for doing this. Okay, before I let you go, do you have any final words on the portal connector or Reach?
No, thanks, Steve, for having me, and right back at you with the thanks for the partnership. I think part of the success of Reach is our ability to enable our schools to provide a really unique and differentiating student experience, regardless of where that student is in their life cycle. And that wouldn't be possible today without the support of the Portal Connector team. So thanks to your team as well.
Okay, Jen. Well, thanks again. My next guest is a Microsoft Dynamics Business Applications MVP, a good friend, and most importantly, she's an amazing person. Please welcome Dian Taylor.
Well, thanks, Steve. So thank you so much for having me, and glad to participate.
So Dionne, I know that you've been using the Portal Connector for quite some time. As I mentioned, you're a Dynamics MVP, and you're very active in the community doing sessions. I think you're doing one here at DynamicsCon. But you also have a blog and a full-time job. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your role and us a little bit about your blog?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually work at RSM as a director in pre-sales. And like you said, I'm a Microsoft MVP as well. I just got re-awarded this year. So it's been 2 years in a row now, which is great and crazy. I do have a blog. You can read my articles at d365goddess.com or follow me on Twitter at d365goddess. And then you can also go to YouTube/d365goddess. I do try to write articles at least once a week, upload a video related to the article once a week as well. So yeah, pretty great.
Yeah, that's great. I love your blog. I know you're always, first in line anytime any new Dynamics content comes out. I know to know where to go to find that. It's definitely very informative. So, of course, you're here to talk a little bit about the Portal Connector. And so maybe what you can do is tell me a little bit about what your experience has been using the Portal Connector.
I really love the products also because I think one of the best features of it is that it's so easy to use and, set up your views and set up your forms and set up your security. I have tried to work with the Microsoft Portal in the past, and I'm not one to give up very quickly, but I just had to let it go because it just seemed like I just couldn't get it to work the way that I needed it to work. And like I said, with the Portal Connector, it's very easy to just, set up logic in there. You can even connect tables with each other so that folks only get the related data of that table. And it just seems like it's a little bit confusing on how to do that sometimes in the Microsoft portal. Now, again, I haven't touched it in quite some time because I'm using the portal connector, and I really love showing it to all of our prospects and our clients. Yeah.
Yeah, so you mentioned the ability to connect tables and forms and that sort of thing. Is it the drag and drop functionality, or is it just because it's just so intuitive?
It's both of that. I love that it's so intuitive, like you said. I love that it's a drag and drop interface. You can put security roles, as you know, just on the pages so that it's really easy to kind of separate out. For example, if you have organizations that want partners to see different pages than, for example, end customers. I also love how it's just easy, right? Because that's what people want, right? If you want to put a SharePoint grid on that, right? The SharePoint grid that's integrated out of the box natively with Dynamics 365. You just drag it on there and it's there. The other thing that I also really like and that Microsoft's portal kind of lacks is the ability to use a shopping cart, right? For basically any table that you have in the system. So sometimes I do demonstrations for not-for-profit organizations and they need to sell memberships, right? So I was able to actually configure the portal connector with that cart functionality that they can just select a membership, right? Pick the membership they want, and then just pay for that membership by credit card. So again, just some of those things that are just outstanding to me when you're talking about a portal, right? That's definitely something you want, that e-commerce side. And Microsoft does have that from the ERP side, but not yet on the CE side, right? When we're talking about Dynamics 365 sales, field service, right? Any of those apps.
Yeah, so that's definitely a great use case, Dionne. With you being in pre-sales, I imagine that you come across many scenarios where they're looking for a portal. Can you tell me where you see the portal connector as a good fit for their solutions or their particular vertical?
That's a good question. Honestly, I demoed a portal connector for everything. So you have non-for-profit, you have organizations in the healthcare industry that work with hospitals. Again, a really, really good way to be able to use the portal connector. Also, like I said earlier, for SharePoint documentation, right? If you just want hospitals to be able to upload documents or just view documents or download documents, you can use the portal connector for that. I also see it a lot in field service, right? People want their customers to be able to go into the portal and, for example, look at the status of a work order or be able to create their own work order, right? I also see it for any organization that has customer service, and right, every organization has customer service, obviously, and I love that the portal connector already comes with a template for case management, right? We already have some dashboards in there that we can use. We have some views in there, open cases, closed cases. So it's really a turnkey solution, especially for those types of organizations as well. I have not had a prospect or a customer yet that cannot use the portal connector for any vertical, so to speak.
Well, that's great to hear because we try to be as versatile as possible. But I'm sure that you have probably had difficulties at some point in time using the portal connector. Can you tell us any point in time that you might have had difficulties?
Oh, that is a really good question. Anything that I needed to get done and that I needed to show in the portal connector, excuse me, I have been able to do. I have not really been in a situation where I was like, oh my goodness, I can't get this to work and how do I do this? So I can't really answer that question. I love the fact, even if it is functionality that is not out of the box, then there's always something you can do in regards to development with that as well. So the other thing that I did that I first, when I started working with the portal connector, thought, well, like, how do I do that, right? This was also, again, before Dynamics 365 marketing, where we had a new table that we called events that we wanted to show on the the portal connector, but not just a list of events. We really wanted to be able to show that on a calendar and have people click on that event and then register for it. I was able to get that done. Yeah, I did need a little bit of help from the guys from the portal connector because I was so new to the product, but I can't really say like, oh my God, this was so difficult to configure, unfortunately. So that's my answer.
Well, thank you. Not quite what I was looking for, but that's all right. So I'm glad that you haven't run into any major roadblocks using the portal connector. But how about the team? Maybe tell us a little bit about the experience you've had working with the portal connector team.
I'm just going to keep boasting. I can't help it. They are really knowledgeable. They are very quick to respond. Any inquiries I have, any questions I have, they're very jump on a call right at my earliest convenience, obviously, to kind of help me figure some of these things out, especially when I was new. I don't really have to do a lot of calls anymore because I think I pretty much know how most of this stuff works, which is great. And then if I have a demo, for example, with some stuff that's more on the development side that needs some coding and maybe some JavaScripting and stuff, I'm able to get you on the horn, which is amazing. But if you're not available, then some of the people on your team are always very responsive. And honestly, that is pretty big to me as well, because obviously you don't want to have a partnership. And then when your customers do have an issue, that nobody is there, right, to answer their questions and to give them help. So that was also a big part of the decision for us to work with you guys. I think it's huge. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you very much, Dionne. I'd like to really thank you for your time today. I know that you're a busy person with all your blogs, your articles, all that other good stuff, and can't wait to see you again at the conferences. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve.
And for our final guest, I'd like to introduce Mark Scott from one of our premier implementation partners. Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and Xpedition?
Thanks, Steve. Hi, I'm Mark Scott, Senior Project Manager here at Xpedition. I've been with Xpedition now for 16 years, concentrating on delivering Dynamics customer engagement and its supporting technologies since version 1.2. Xpedition is a digital transformation expert. As a Dynamics Gold partner and a cloud-based BizApps customer engagement and business central specialist, we help organizations achieve their business objectives through our unique blended agile delivery approach, helping them deliver against their business goals in the most challenging environments. This leads nicely into the project we're going to discuss today, which is one that I was fortunate enough to work on for our valued client. It's on this project where we delivered an innovative customer portal to meet the needs of this fast-moving, rapidly expanding business. And of course, the Portal Connect played a significant part in helping us achieve this.
Well, thanks, Mark. So you mentioned you're going to focus on one of your client projects today. To learn more about the great work and that Xpedition and the team have been completed, shall we start with a quick introduction to the client and their use case and maybe some of their challenges?
Sure. The client is one of the largest financial advice businesses in the UK. It has a professional community of over 4,000 financial advisors across the group, comprising nearly 700 advice firms. These firms range from sole traders through to multi-branch firms with over 100 employees that offer a range of services, everything from investments and pensions through to mortgages and protection. The challenge the client faced was that it had outgrown its legacy business recording and submission systems. With the network and customer base continually expanding, it needed a customer-centric system that could keep pace with rapid growth. They needed innovative technologies and a trusted partner to support the full range of advice and servicing processes for wealth management and mortgage advice, including Know Your Customer and client servicing. In addition, the client was keen to digitize and automate more of their admin processes and offer self-service and account visibility through their customer portals.
That's great, Mark. Can you expand on why you needed the portal connector to meet your customers' requirements and how it helped?
Of course, to start with, the client reviewed the available specialist and off-the-shelf solutions and chose Microsoft Dynamics 365 as it offered a highly flexible and integrated platform for its diverse and expanding network. From a short list of recommended service partners, the partnership chose Xpedition to guide and support them in the customization and development of an innovative, robust, cloud-based network advice solution. To build the customer portal, there were other tools on the market that we could have used. However, these tools are either comparatively basic in nature or would have been expensive and time-consuming to build the client's complex requirements. The Portal Connector was a great fit, a more sophisticated, versatile tool that allowed us to build something truly innovative. A single portal with a unique look and feel for the 700 advice firms when their clients log in.
Yeah, absolutely, Mark. It is definitely versatile. So with any project, you typically run into challenges. Did you face any challenges with this project, and how did you overcome them?
This was a truly agile project, so the portal needed to flex to meet changing client priorities throughout the length of the project. The project progressed rapidly through various iterations, flexing to incorporate new network members, agreed key design decisions, and opportunities to improve the advice process. The customizations and configuration was adapted to accommodate the different interdependencies, products and service requirements of the network's advisor group. The Portal Connector's simple yet powerful configuration allowed the portal to flex to the project needs, just as Dynamics 365 did.
Yeah, absolutely. The Portal Connector definitely is adaptable, so it's key that you saw that in the product itself. What do you consider to be some of the key benefits to using the Portal Connector? And, what does the future hold for your customer's platform?
The project delivers a unique journey for each customer interaction. We all know that the customer experience is vital for success, the winning and retaining of clients. So this is a significant achievement. Without the flexibility and functionality offered by the underlying technologies, we couldn't have delivered a market-leading customer experience while meeting robust security and compliance standards. Xpedition delivered the client a proven, highly effective advice network solution that will continue to evolve to meet new and existing member needs as the network continues to grow. Due to the success of the project, we continue to work with the client today.
Well, thanks, Mark. Throughout this process with your customer, how have you found working with the Portal Connector team?
Working with the people at the Portal Connector has always been a pleasure across all of our customers. Everyone I've dealt with has been enthusiastic, knowledgeable and passionate about portals. This has meant they're always looking to work in partnership to deliver a great customer experience.
So Mark, I'd like to thank you for your time today and Xpedition, of course. As I mentioned, you're one of our premier partners and we really appreciate the cooperation and the partnership. Before I let you go today, was there any final thoughts on the Portal Connector or your experience implementing it with your clients?
Not really, apart from to say thank you for your help and support, Steve. It's always been a pleasure to work with you, and I hope to carry on doing across a number of different customers.
Well, that's great, Mark. Thank you very much. And with that, folks, I'd like to bring this presentation to a close. If you're looking for any other information about the Portal Connector, please give us a shout. We're always at our phones, our computers, or you can visit our website, www.portalconnector.com. Thank you.
I like the Portal Connector because of the awesome team that they have.
I love the Portal Connector because it's just so easy to use.
I had secretly been looking at the Portal Connector for several months before we actually made the purchase. But once we did that, everything really ran smoothly, and working with the team has been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, and so has the rest of my team.
My favorite thing about the portal connector is that it's friendly for both technical and business users.
The portal connector allows us to assign permissions and roles so we can offer targeted services and resources to our members.
I like the portal connector because you can embed Power BI reports.
For me, the most important thing about the portal connector is how adaptable it is.